Hey folks, welcome back to Tech and More Tech. I'm Carlo, and in this video I'm going to go over my top 10 product announcements and devices that I saw at CES this year. As always, if you prefer a more detailed written rundown of all of this in the video, head on over to techandmoretech.com or check the link in the description just below that like button. Now this year CES was all digital, which means I didn't actually go to Las Vegas. I stayed in my office right behind me and did everything online. It was a little bit lackluster. There weren't a ton of things announced, but there were still plenty of things to talk about. So this is going to be my personal top 10. Obviously there's going to be things that I'm going to miss or that I didn't think were as interesting that other people did. But either way, here we go. Starting with number 10 is the Razer RGB face mask. There's really no other way to describe it except for a large face mask that goes on your face. It has RGB because it's made by Razer and it's a pro gaming move. It also has a clear front so people can actually see your lips and see your mouth, so you get those facial cues when someone's talking. There's also lighting for at night so you can kind of see a little bit better. And it also has voice projection, so it has a little microphone inside, so it's really difficult to understand when people are speaking, especially if they're soft-spoken through a mask. This is going to help that. It's obviously just a concept. We have no idea if it's actually going to be made, but it is pretty gnarly looking, and if they do make it, you can be the most absurd cyberpunk looking person buying avocados at Whole Foods. Number 9. You may know Twinkly from their super fancy Christmas tree lights that are individually adjustable, and you can kind of draw designs on your phone that then are sort of translated to your Christmas tree. Well, this year they've added a few more products to their lineup. Starting with the Twinkly squares, which are kind of like the Nanoleaf canvas behind me, but with more individual lights so you can come up with more detailed designs. The Twinkly line is a light strip with 100 individually adjustable LEDs. And then you've got the Twinkly Flex, which is like a highly diffused, flexible light strip. It looks pretty awesome. It kind of looks like outdoor light strips. And it kind of looks like those old school neon color signs that you see at bars and stuff. They're all compatible with Google Assistant and with Razer Chroma. Number 8, TCL and Sony have both partnered with Google to have Google TV OS running on their upcoming lineup of TVs. Google TV debuted with the new Chromecast, which I reviewed and loved, link below. Only some of the TCL TVs will get it at first, but hopefully that expands to the rest of their lineup. This will be great for those that don't want to buy a separate streaming stick and would prefer to use the built-in apps on their TV. A lot of the time the cheaper TVs have really bad OSs, they're slow, they're buggy, whatever. Google TV OS is really, really good. Number 7. We finally have Wi-Fi 6E routers. Yes, they're very expensive, and yes, there's hardly any devices on the market that utilize Wi-Fi 6E. But even so, it will all eventually come. For those that don't know, Wi-Fi 6E can utilize the newly available 6 GHz wireless spectrum. This means less congestion on your wireless network because it uses a different wireless spectrum, but also has more channels within it, so there's going to be less interference. Anyone with a smart home will know that unless you have a good router, your Wi-Fi will eventually start to bog down as you keep adding more and more Wi-Fi devices to it. I myself have about 35 devices, and I'm still doing okay. TPLink is launching the AX7800 tri-band mesh system and the AX11000 router. Pricing and release date is still unknown for those. Netgear's model is the RAXE500, which can be pre-ordered for a whopping $600 and is expected to ship in March. Linksys has their router available in the spring-summer and will cost about $450. Alongside their new Wi-Fi 6E router, Linksys also showed a device-based tracking system for their routers. Linksys Aware is their subscription service that uses their mesh Wi-Fi network to detect motion in your house. Basically, as you move around the house, it can cause the Wi-Fi radio signal as a way of detecting where the movement is, as it naturally interferes with the signal. Now, this service is being updated to utilize stationary devices on your home network, like smart speakers, thermostats, smart switches, etc., to expand the area of detection and have it be more precise. I think this is a really interesting way of detecting presence, and perhaps they will allow it to be integrated into automations down the line. Number 5, TPLink also announced a bunch of new smart home devices. Key among them is the new video doorbell. It looks a lot like the Nest doorbell, but it has a 1080p camera, it can distinguish people and objects, and it can save footage to either a micro SD card or to the cloud. I think the micro SD storage is super important because sometimes it just doesn't go to the cloud, it doesn't pick up anything, but if you have continuous recording available, you're never going to miss out on a package getting stolen, you would never miss out on some sort of notification, and overall it's just a really good redundant system to have. No price or release date, but it will be available sometime in 2021. TP-Link is also adding an outdoor camera that to their lineup records at 2K resolution, has a starlight sensor for full color night recording, again to a micro SD card or to the cloud. Their spot pan tilt camera is also getting 2K video, and they have a new motion activated dimmer switch, which is pretty rare, and an updated 3-way smart switch as well. All of this is due later this year with pricing to be announced. Number 4. Arlo has announced a new video doorbell, and this one happens to be touchless, meaning you don't actually have to press the button, you just get your finger close enough to the button and it will ring. To my knowledge, this is also the only video doorbell that is compatible with all major smart home ecosystems. HomeKit, Amazon, Google, If This Then That, and SmartThings, which is really excellent. It appears to have similar features to other competitors like night vision, 180-degree field of view, visitor messaging, etc. The price is a reasonable $129, comes in black and white, and is available to purchase right now. Number 3. Rollable phone concepts made a sort of cameo debut at CES this year from LG and TCL. LG didn't acknowledge the rollable phone until afterwards. In their keynote, they showed a phone that rolled out to be much wider than it is, and the video playing on it kind of scaled automatically. They later stated that it wasn't just a concept and that it would be released later this year. TCL gave a bit more detail on the rollable phone, but not much. It's a standard looking phone at 6.7 inches in length and then extends out to 7.8 inches. They also showed this crazy looking concept rollable device that kind of looks like an old papyrus scroll. It's supposed to be like a 17-inch screen that you can just unroll whenever you want. But the actual version that they showed was clearly far away from their conceptual idea. Neither have a release date, and it's uncertain if either will move on from concept to actual production. Number 2. The Zandar Cardian has a really interesting occupancy sensor that uses radar and micro vibrations to detect presence. They apparently have them deployed in commercial and retail settings, but have shown a version for the smart home as well. It apparently has a 99.9% accuracy rating and can even detect when someone has fallen asleep in a room. Having automations based on occupancy is one of the most sort of coveted and also disappointing ways of automating your smart home. Most of the time you can get this to work with motion detection, but I found that it really only works in really simple settings like maybe going into a closet, maybe a bathroom or something like that. But if you have it like in your living room or in a bedroom or anything like that, inevitably it disappoints you and it turns the lights off when you don't want them to. If this occupancy sensor is as accurate as they claim it to be, this could be the product we've all been waiting for. There's currently no release date or price on their site, but hopefully we will see some updated information from them soon. And lastly, number 1, the last and in my opinion the coolest product shown at CES is the Cold Snap ice cream machine. It can make soft serve ice cream, froyo, smoothies, protein shakes, coffee, and cocktails. You place a pod in the machine and it makes a frozen treat for you, and who doesn't love that? Pod-based food machines haven't had a history of large success though, especially compared to something like a Keurig or a Nespresso. It looks pretty interesting and cool, but it's still in prototype phase and won't be available until 2022 and will supposedly cost between $500 and $1,000, with the pods being about $2 to $3 each. I think this might be much more common in like an office environment rather than your average kitchen. And there you have it, 10 cool things we saw at CES this year. Obviously a lot more was announced, but these were the kind of ones that stuck out in my mind. If you liked the video, be sure to smash that like and subscribe button for plenty more videos to come. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. I'll get to them as best I can. What are some of the cool things that you guys saw at CES? I'd love to know. Get that discussion going. And until next time, see ya.